What if I told you that some of the most powerful tools for protecting your health are not locked inside a pharmacy, but sitting quietly on the shelves of your local grocery store? I'm talking about simple foods, the kind you may have walked past hundreds of times without giving them a second thought. Now, if you're like many people I speak with every day, you might already be concerned about things like heart disease, rising blood sugar, or even cancer. These are not small concerns, and over time, they can start to feel overwhelming. So what do most people do? They look for something complicated, a new supplement, a special treatment, something that sounds advanced, maybe even expensive, because it feels like serious problems should require serious solutions. But here's the part that often gets missed. Sometimes the most powerful support for your body doesn't come from something new. It comes from understanding what has been there all along and using it the right way. In this video, I'm going to walk you through 5 everyday vegetables that have been studied for years, not just for general health, but for how they interact with your body at a deeper level. And one of them, in particular, tends to surprise almost everyone when they hear what it can actually do. So stay with me, because by the end of this, you may start looking at your next trip to the grocery store very differently. Before we go any further, let me take a moment to explain where this information is coming from, because I know how important trust is when it comes to your health. Over the past decade, I've worked with many patients facing the same concerns we just talked about: rising blood pressure, changes in blood sugar, early warning signs that, if ignored, can lead somewhere none of us want to go. And during that time, I have seen many trends come and go: new diets, new supplements, new promises that sound exciting at first, but don't always hold up over time. What I'm sharing with you here is different. This is based on research that has been studied, reviewed, and repeated across many years. Scientists have taken a close look at how certain natural compounds in food interact with the body, not just on the surface, but down at the level where your cells are constantly working to protect and repair themselves. This is not about replacing medical care, and it's not about quick fixes. It's about understanding how your body works and giving it the support it was designed to use. Because when you see that connection clearly, the choices you make each day start to feel a lot more meaningful. Now, before we talk about specific foods, there's something important I want you to understand. Because once this becomes clear, everything else will start to make a lot more sense. Most serious health problems don't appear overnight. They build slowly, quietly, often without any obvious warning in the beginning. Underneath conditions like heart disease, diabetes, even many forms of cancer, there are 2 processes that show up again and again. The first is chronic inflammation. You can think of it like a small fire that never fully goes out. At first, it's barely noticeable, but over time, it keeps burning, gently damaging the tissues around it. The second is something called oxidative stress. A simple way to picture this is like rust forming inside the body. Little by little, it wears things down. It affects your cells, your blood vessels, even your DNA. Now, here's why this matters. When these 2 processes continue for years, they create an environment where disease has a chance to take hold. But here's the encouraging part. What can I actually eat that makes a real difference? Not a trend, not a guess. Something real. That question stayed with me because it's one I hear more often than you might think. So instead of giving her a long list of complicated rules, I gave her something much simpler, a focus plan built around 5 specific vegetables, each chosen for how it supports the body at a deeper level. And I asked her to follow it consistently. What happened over the next 12 months is something I want to share with you. Let's start with the first one. And this may sound familiar because you've probably seen it many times before. Broccoli. Most people know it's healthy, but very few understand what it's actually doing inside the body. When you cut or chew broccoli, something interesting happens. A natural compound is activated, and that compound sends a signal inside your cells. You can think of it like flipping on a master switch. Once that switch is turned on, your body begins to produce a whole range of protective substances. These help neutralize harmful molecules, support the repair of damaged cells, and strengthen your natural defense systems. In simple terms, it helps your body clean up and protect itself at the same time. What's even more interesting is that this process seems to affect unhealthy cells differently than normal ones. Some research suggests that certain compounds in broccoli can signal abnormal cells to shut themselves down before they have a chance to grow further. Now here's the part many people get wrong. How you prepare broccoli makes a big difference. If it's boiled for too long, much of that benefit is lost. But if you eat it raw or lightly steam it for just a few minutes, you keep far more of those helpful compounds active. Even something as simple as adding a small portion to your meals a few times a week can begin to support your body in a meaningful way. It may look ordinary, but inside your body, it's doing far more than you might expect. Now let's move to the second one, and this is something almost every kitchen already has: garlic. For thousands of years, people have used garlic because they noticed it helped with health. But today, we understand much more about why that is. When you crush or chop fresh garlic, it releases a natural substance that wasn't active before. Think of it like unlocking something hidden inside. This compound has been studied for how it supports the body in several ways. It helps slow down processes that can lead to unwanted cell growth. It also supports the health of your blood vessels by helping them relax and stay open, which can improve circulation. And for many people, that means better support for heart health over time. But here's something simple that makes a big difference. If you cook garlic immediately after cutting it, you don't give that beneficial compound enough time to fully form. Instead, try this. Crush or finely chop the garlic, then let it sit for about 10 minutes before adding it to heat. That short pause allows the natural reaction to complete, so your body can receive more of its benefit. It's a small step. It doesn't cost anything. But over time, small steps like this can add up in a very real way. Now let's talk about something many people overlook, even though it shows up on their plate quite often: leafy greens. Foods like spinach, kale, and other dark green vegetables. These foods may not seem exciting, but inside your body, they play a very important role. They provide nutrients that your body cannot make on its own. And some of these nutrients are directly involved in how your cells repair themselves. For example, there is a nutrient that helps your body build and maintain healthy DNA. You can think of it like making sure the instructions inside your cells stay clear and accurate over time. They also contain natural pigments that act like protective shields. These help calm down the damage caused by everyday stress inside the body. But one of the most interesting things about leafy greens is how they behave during digestion. When you eat foods that have been cooked at high temperatures, especially meats, certain harmful substances can form. Leafy greens contain compounds that can bind to those substances in your digestive system and help carry them out before they enter your bloodstream. It's almost like having a natural filter working quietly in the background. Now here's something to keep in mind. These benefits are strongest when the greens are fresh. Once they are cooked and then reheated, some of those helpful properties begin to change in ways that are not as beneficial. So a simple habit like adding a fresh salad or blending greens into a smoothie each day can give your body steady support. It may seem like a small choice, but over time, it can make a meaningful difference. Now let's move to something very familiar, but often misunderstood: carrots. Most people grew up hearing that carrots are good for your eyes. And while that's true, it's only a small part of the story. Inside your body, carrots do something much more important. They contain natural compounds that help protect your cells from damage. You can think of this protection like a shield. Every day, your body is exposed to small amounts of stress that can wear down your cells over time. These compounds help reduce that wear and tear. There is also another substance in carrots that has been studied for how it may slow down the development of unhealthy cells. It doesn't act like a drug. It simply creates an environment that makes it harder for those cells to grow and spread. Now here's something that surprises many people. Raw carrots are not always the best way to get these benefits. When carrots are lightly cooked, their structure softens. This allows your body to absorb more of those helpful compounds. But if they are overcooked, you begin to lose some of the balance. So the goal is simple: lightly steam or gently cook them, just enough to make them tender. And one more small tip that makes a big difference: have them with a little bit of healthy fat, like olive oil. This helps your body absorb those nutrients more effectively. Again, nothing complicated, just a small adjustment that helps your body get more from something you may already be eating. Now we come to the fifth one, and this is the one that often catches people off guard. Asparagus. At first glance, it doesn't look like anything special, but inside your body, it provides something very important, especially as we get older. There's a natural substance your body uses to protect itself from internal damage. You can think of it as part of your body's cleanup system. It helps neutralize harmful byproducts and supports your cells as they repair themselves. The challenge is that as the years go by, your body gradually produces less of it. That means your ability to recover from everyday stress becomes a little weaker over time. This is where asparagus comes in. It provides this protective substance in a form your body can use right away. No complicated steps. It simply supports what your body is already trying to do. It also contains another compound that has been studied for how it helps your body recognize and deal with damaged cells more effectively. In simple terms, it helps your body make better decisions about which cells should stay and which ones should not. Now, just like the other foods we've talked about, preparation matters. If asparagus is cooked too long, much of its benefit is lost. But when it is lightly steamed for just a few minutes, it keeps much more of what makes it useful. A small serving, a few times a week, is enough to begin making a difference. It may not look impressive, but its impact can be much bigger than most people expect. Now let's go back to Linda, because this is where everything starts to come together in a real and meaningful way. When she first came to see me, she wasn't looking for anything extreme. She didn't want a complicated plan that she couldn't stick to. She just wanted something that made sense and something she could actually follow. So she began slowly. She added broccoli to her meals a few times a week. She started preparing garlic the right way, giving it those extra minutes before cooking. She made fresh leafy greens a regular part of her day. She included lightly cooked carrots with a bit of olive oil, and a few times a week she added asparagus, always careful not to overcook it. Nothing drastic, no sudden overhaul, just consistent, simple choices. About 12 months later, she came back for her follow-up. Her inflammation levels had come down into a normal range. Her blood sugar had stabilized without needing medication, and when her specialist reviewed her results, there were no new areas of concern. But what stayed with me most was not just the numbers. It was what she said. She told me she had spent years walking past these foods, never realizing what they could actually do for her. And now, for the first time, she felt like she was actively supporting her own health in a way she could understand and maintain. Now let's take a step back and look at the bigger picture, because I want this to feel simple and clear for you. We talked about 5 foods that are easy to find and easy to add into your routine. Broccoli helps your body turn on its natural defense systems. It supports how your cells protect and repair themselves. Garlic works quietly in the background, helping your blood vessels stay open and supporting balance in your body over time. Leafy greens provide the raw materials your body needs to maintain healthy cells, while also helping reduce the impact of harmful substances you may take in from other foods. Carrots offer protection at the cellular level, helping your body handle everyday stress more effectively. And asparagus supports your body's internal cleanup system, especially important as that support naturally declines with age. Now here's the key idea I want you to remember. None of these foods are meant to work alone, and none of them are a quick fix. Their real strength comes from being used consistently, in small ways, over time. Because your body responds best to steady support, not sudden changes. When you understand that, these choices stop feeling like chores and start feeling like simple ways to take care of yourself each day. So here's what I would suggest you do, starting this week. Don't try to change everything at once. That usually doesn't last. Instead, pick just 2 of the foods we talked about today. Maybe it's broccoli and garlic, or leafy greens and carrots. Choose what feels easiest for you. Add them into your meals in a way that fits your routine. Keep it simple. Keep it realistic. Because the goal is not perfection. The goal is consistency. Over time, those small choices begin to build on each other. And that's where real change happens. Now I'm curious, which of these surprised you the most? Take a moment and think about it, And if you have someone in your life who is dealing with health concerns right now, this might be worth sharing with them. Because sometimes the most helpful information is the kind that is simple enough to actually use. And before we finish, just a quick reminder. What we talked about today is meant to support your health, not replace any care you are already receiving. If you are under treatment, it's always a good idea to talk with your doctor before making changes. Your body has an incredible ability to protect and repair itself. Sometimes, it just needs the right kind of support.